Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Low Budget Review Show. I am your host, Eric Smith, and today I'm talking about Lush and Other Tales of Boozy Mayhem by Duane Swierczynski. Look at that beautiful cover. This is from Cimarron Street Books. There's more on the back cover. And this artist has illustrations inside. That's cover art by Heather Vaughn. There we go. And there are illustrations inside for most of the stories, half the stories. I don't know exactly. Some of the stories. But I love this color. This is a short story collection. You could probably tell from the title. There's my ring light. Keep trying to keep that off of there. And I'm going to have to look at the table of contents here. So, short story collection. Wide range of short stories. I'm not going to go through all of them. We start with Hilly Palmer's Last Case. We end with Pinkerton, which takes place, or parts of it takes place, in the same bar as Hilly Palmer's Last Case. We have a character that crosses over from one story to the other. There are little connections that run throughout different stories. Hilly Palmer is mentioned in another story besides Hilly Palmer's Last Case. So let's start. I will talk about Hilly Palmer's Last Case. Basically, we have a cub reporter, a fledgling reporter. I don't even know if he's actually a reporter. He's a fact checker. Wants to be a reporter. And he pitches a story idea to his editor. How about if I get the story of the last hard-boiled private detective in Philadelphia? And he uses one of his connections at the newspaper to set him up with Hilly Palmer. And things happen. And then we get stories with a Polish death curse. Ghosts. All right, I had this mapped out, and now I've forgotten. Secret agents. More hard-boiled detectives. All sorts of craziness. So, I'm just going to highlight some of the things in the table of contents here. Eve of Destruction is the story about the Polish death curse. I'd read this story before. Mr. Swierczynski published it in his newsletter. I subscribed to his newsletter. He shared this story. So I had read it before, and I believe this is the one that mentions Hilly Palmer again. Let's see. We're going to jump to... Is it... Speed of the... I'm going to have to check something. So you get to watch me flip through. Yep. Speed of the Sound of Loneliness. This is a really cool story that takes place in the future where all auto travel is completely automated. And it's the story of a man who becomes obsessed when he sees a very illegal, the last gas-powered automobile tearing through traffic. And he becomes obsessed with it. That's all I'm going to tell you. It's a great story. Universal Monster. Fantastic. Bit of pulp horror. Weird fun. Walk of Fame. Very bizarre story where... How much can I say without giving it away? Well, I think the premise... It's a world where people with psychic abilities are making famous people's heads explode like in scanners. That's just the setup. That's like page 1. Where is it? Say Goodnight to the Bad Guy. About a man's, again, an obsession with finding the author of the greatest noir story ever written. The Replacement. Oh, this story is so... The ideas behind some of these stories. Basically, in The Replacement, again, I'm trying to do this without giving anything away. Regular viewers know I'm not a fan of spoilers. and I find it sometimes difficult to talk about short stories because they're so short, they get to the point. You got to get in and get out, and I don't know how much I'm giving away, but basically, in The Replacement, if you kill somebody, I don't know if it works for it has to just work for murder or manslaughter or whatever. If you kill somebody under this new law, you must replace them. You essentially go and live their life as if you are them. So it's not like you just take over some person's job. You have to go and live their life as if you are them. And so this is the story of someone who has to do that. It's wild. So Duane Swierczynski, he's a writer I discovered because he wrote some comic books for Marvel. I was going to say Moon Knight, but then I also think maybe it was Iron Fist. I don't remember which comic it was that first brought him to my attention. But I found out it was a character I liked. Moon Knight, Iron Fist, love both of them. Found out he was an author. Grabbed Severance Package. It was the first book I picked up by him. Fantastic book. And just started grabbing everything. And I think I have everything that's come out up to this point. I don't think I'm missing anything. Except his nonfiction. He's got a bunch of nonfiction stuff that I don't have. But, so I'm a huge fan. I love his writing style. I love his wild ideas. Severance Package is crazy. The Charlie Hardy... See, I'm so excited that I'm tongue-tied. The Charlie Hardy trilogy is amazing, and it's crazy. And each book just escalates the wildness. He definitely comes back down to earth with Revolver, which is a very straightforward 3-generation story of cops in Philadelphia. Nothing wild about it. It's a great book, but it's very grounded as opposed to things like Severance Package, the Charlie Hardy trilogy, Expiration Date, I believe is the proper name of the book. Yes. And he's got crazy crime stuff, the Wheelman, the Blonde. Revolver. Canary's great, and it sort of falls... There's still a bit of that Charlie Hardy flavor, but he's getting a little more grounded. And then Revolver, very, very grounded. Great crime novel. So I'm a huge fan, and all of that writing is reflected here. You've got some very grounded kind of stories, and then you've got a lot of really wild and crazy stories. There are ghosts. There's an obsessive ghost. There's some sci-fi elements in here. There's some monster stuff in here. The final story, Pinkerton, is about this reporter who can always use extra money, and a character from the very first story shows up. I believe that's the same character, and offers her an opportunity. I don't want to get too much into it, but it's weird. Whoops. So, again, I'm not going to go over everything in here. But, and Lush, the title story. Where is it? Yep. Lush is, how do I describe it? A secret agent story with a twist. Really, really interesting. Really wild. Again, I really want to just tell you everything, but I don't. I don't want to spoil it because you should be reading this. There's another one. Okay, I got to check. Let me see. Yep, Under the Influence. It's about a guy driving a car across the country, and he's writing in a journal, but then somebody else is writing in the journal. That's all I want to say. I can't give anything away, but such a great story. So, yeah, this has been a little rambly. It happens when I'm doing short story collections. All I can say is I gave this 5 out of 5. I forgot to do my too long didn't watch at the beginning. This is 5 out of 5. All the stories are fantastic. I like some better than others just because of maybe the twist or the setting or the what the story is. But they're all really, really good. Duane Swierczynski is a writer I absolutely love. I love his style. I love his ideas. Excuse me. And I'm very excited about what's coming next. He's got a book called California Bear that's forthcoming. He has done something shots. I can't remember. James Patterson did these little novellas with a bunch of different, there were tons of them. And Duane Swierczynski did 2 of them. I have both. I've only read the first one so far. I try to parse out my Duane Swierczynski. But he's got a novel coming out with James Patterson called Lion and Lamb. I'm looking forward to that. I actually don't have everything he's done because there's a trilogy called the Level 26 trilogy that he wrote with Anthony Zucker, if that's how you say his name, Anthony E. Zucker. Dark Origins, Dark Prophecy, Dark Revelations. I've always kind of put that off because I don't know how much he did, how much Zucker did, or if Zucker's name is just on them and it's all Duane Swierczynski. I do need to get those, though. But, yeah, just fantastic short story collection. You should be reading Duane Swierczynski. Highly recommended. I don't know what else to say. As usual, did not think of a question beforehand. So, you know what? I'm not going to ask you a question. Let's just throw some comments. Ask me some questions. If you have any comments, questions, or corrections, as usual, please put those in the comments below. Comments are open for spoilers. Just post a spoiler warning. We try to be polite here at the Low Budget Review Show. Please like, share, and subscribe. All the usual YouTube stuff. If you'd care to follow me on other social media as of this recording, on Twitter, I am at Ronan5757. On Instagram, where I post pictures of books, comic books, board games, and fuzzy animals, it's Eric Smith 5757. That's Eric with a K, ERIKSMITH 5757. That's all I've got. This has been the Low Budget Review Show. I have been Eric Smith, and until next time, read more books.